think if you're in this program, you've already gotten used to recording.
Yeah, I am. So the school says we cannot post this. So I'm figuring anybody that wants a copy of it, I'll just email you the file. And if the files are too big, because I haven't tried it yet, maybe I could do like a private YouTube page and post them there.
What do you mean the school says you can't post it?
Yeah, I asked about it and they said no.
Like even in the little group that we have?
You
But
mean
within the chat, you mean?
Yeah, the chat.
Oh, I didn't ask about the chat. I suppose I could post it in a chat because that's private. I'll ask him about that. I asked if I could post it on the Unbreakable Bond page. That way, anybody who wanted to, be a part of it and enjoy it could.
I appreciate you taking the initiative to set this up. I think this is a fantastic idea. So thank you for that. I have a group in cohort 3 of about 78 people that I have calls, 2 of them every Monday, and I post those in our chat group. So you probably have a green light in that forum, but not on the Unbreakable one for everyone.
I'm
They're a
so
little
glad.
protective of that space.
Yeah, I'm glad you shared that with me. I wish they would have said that. No, but you can post it in your chats. I got Dave for that. Awesome. Okay.
Happy to help.
3 more minutes. Do you guys think we should just do what we're doing now, where we're all just kind of pipe in whenever we want to, or should we do it like class where people raise their virtual hand? Does anybody have feedback?
I think the virtual hand works really well.
So we don't talk over each other. I agree.
Okay.
Especially because sometimes there's a delay, and I think that's what creates sometimes more of an issue.
Right.
Dave,
Dave.
go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, so the virtual hand works really well, as demonstrated. But I think that you never know what's going to happen with something like this, because this is, like I said, a really good idea. You could have lots of people on a call where it's just nobody's got the opportunity to express themselves, and maybe in that situation, you open up breakout rooms or something like that. Just kind of evolve with the flow of how it goes. I think for a group this size, and see how it goes today. Just a group conversation where everybody's respectful, as I'm sure everybody would be, because we're very familiar with this forum type of thing. But I'd be open to breakout rooms if that was something that would be more helpful down the line. I think being dynamic in your approach is the key.
I like that. Seshu, go ahead.
So is it something like we are reading the chapter way ahead of our meeting, and then we will be discussing about that in the group meeting, or are we reading the book together in the class? What is the this is my first time doing the book club. I have never done this before. Like even I wasn't part of any of the book clubs before, so I just wanted to know about it.
Okay. I think that it's 11:09, so I think we can just officially start and answer those kinds of questions. And again, anybody who's not here can just watch the recording. So basically, I know as much about book clubs as you do, Seshu. All I know is that I really wanted to read this. I heard that it was difficult, and I thought I would love to do this with other people who are coaches and studying with me. And since Jay Shetty mentions it a lot, I don't know if you guys have noticed that. It really inspired me to want to know, like, well, okay, I need to read this, but I'm a little intimidated to do it alone. So I just thought, let me see if anybody else wants to do this with me. So I assumed that we would read a couple chapters at a time and then meet and discuss it. But I'm open-minded, and if anybody wants to read chapters together during the call, I'm open to that as well. What's everybody's feedback on that? Seshu, is that your last, is it up because of your last hand, or?
Oh, yes, that's, yeah, I have to.
Okay, is it Abhilash or Abi? How do you
Yeah, you can call me Abhi.
Abi? Hi, Abi.
Hey, Shauna, thanks for actually kicking this off. I'm in a very similar boat as you. I would say I've been wanting to read the Gita for a long time. I have exposure to it a little bit because people in my family have read it. I've been a part of a culture where this book has provided a lot of wisdom, but I have not gone through the motion of reading everything, primarily because the version that I was exposed to before was in Sanskrit, and the translations were very difficult. So thank God that there is somebody who has translated this. I did read about the author. My book is still on the way. I haven't procured it yet, but I did a little bit of search, and looks like he's made it simple and easy for people to understand and gain that wisdom. So I'm really thankful that there are so many of us who want to do this together. I've been only a part of one book club in the past with mostly my family members. And I would say the thing that really worked well for us is that we would read ahead of time, whatever was agreed upon, a chapter or two, whatever it is, and then open up for discussion. The discussions is what I felt was most valuable to me to gain different people's perspective, what they really took away, and what I could add, based on my understanding of what I had read before. So that's my opinion, and that's all I want.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Dave, go ahead.
Sorry, often when given the opportunity to speak, I volunteer. So everybody will find that out about me very quickly. So I really like the idea of having two experiences of the book. I like the idea of reading it as an individual and then a conversation about what we're reading together, so that certain concepts that we may have missed through reading it ourselves might hit a little bit harder when we're going over it together, and vice versa. So I think sharing that collectively will bring a more wholesome and fulfilling taking in of the book. I also think that if you had a book club for the Bible, it would be considerably more daunting than this. It's not too big, so it's fairly accessible for a lot of us in our busy lives. So again, I just want to say thank you for doing this.
You're welcome. I appreciate your feedback. Caitlin?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Abby and Dave. Like, I think with this book, it's such a deep and spiritual topic, and everybody is gonna experience it really individually. So I think it would be helpful if everybody could read on their own and kind of have their own time to reflect, and then we come back together and say, this is what I got out of it. What did you get out of it? Because I think like trying to read it together on Zoom not only would be super long, but then you have then you're kind of in the space of like being interrupted with everybody else's thoughts on it, and you're not having as much time to like digest it yourself. But I think both could be cool. So I'm open to either. I just wanted to know what everybody else thought.
Thank you for your feedback. Seema?
I was just trying to Google, because maybe, I used to do a lot of book clubs, and there's, how in the back of the book they'll have questions that are thought-provoking regarding the book. So I just Googled, and for some reason my internet doesn't want to go fast, was taking time, but I just Googled questions for Gita Book Club. So maybe at some of the meetings, we could just bring some of those questions once we've, find maybe the question that applies to the chapter we read, and that might help us to kind of move through some of the ideas in it.
I love that. I think that's great. And it actually made me think, so maybe if we don't find questions that are specific to the chapter we're on, what if each one of us commits to writing one question? Like, we can have as many questions as we want in the discussion, but what if, based on your suggestion, what if we all commit to coming into the meetings with at least one question that we came up with? And maybe one is like not enough. I don't know. Like, maybe we should all be writing questions throughout our reading. Like, as we're reading, maybe
That's a good idea.
Something comes up, and then we write down our question, and then we bring them to each other.
Yeah, because I'm sure at the end of the day, we're all going to have the same question.
Thank you. Thank you, Seema. Rose?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it and I can't find it at the moment, but working full time and then coming home exhausted and tired and trying to keep up with everything that's going on with the school, I've really discovered audiobooks, and there is a audio reading of this particular book.
Yes.
That we have, and he does it very well. And I mean, I get more understanding listening to him and following the text than trying to read the text and make sense of it. So as soon as I find that link, I will let you guys know, or I'll put it in the chat. And I find it very helpful. And so as I was going through, I got through it much faster than I did on my own. And I was able to just kind of make notes as I went along, and I underlined things, and I put little question marks next to things. So I'll see if I can find that link to share with you, but I found it very helpful.
That's a great idea. Thank you, Rose. Is it Tara or Tara?
Hi, it's Tara.
Tara. Hi,
Can
Tara.
you hear me? Sorry. So I'm gonna probably keep
There was like
my-
it was breaking up a little bit. You said Tara, right?
yes, Tara.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna keep my video and everything on mute and my video off because I have 2 children under the age of 5 that, you know, needing me at any moment. But yes, I just want to say thank you for doing this, and I am in agreement with everyone. I still love the idea of having questions and reading the chapters ahead of time, and just like coming in with very thoughtful discussion and all of that. Sorry, getting yelled at in the background. This is why I'm on mute to end video off. But yes, just thank you. And I just wanted to show my face really quickly and just know that I am here and I'm participating, just, you know, in that whatever fashion that I possibly can. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm so glad you did that, because I was wondering who you were. I was like, Tara,
Yeah.
who is this mystery person? So thanks for joining us. And no worries about the kids. You don't have to apologize. I think everybody here is pretty loving and open to all of life and all that life brings. Okay, thank you so much, Tara. Seema?
I was gonna say, Tara, just keep your video on, because you know we want to see your kids. You can mute it though. But I actually am listening to it on Audible, the app Audible, which is a paid, I think it's paid, but you might get like 30 days free or something when you do it the first time. So but when you do it on Audible, it's interesting because it's part of Kindle, right? So then I have the Kindle version of the book, so they sync. So if I am listening to it on Audible in the car and then I come to the book on the Kindle, it'll sync to that page, which makes it a lot easier, because then if I'm listening sometimes and I don't hear, like I don't catch it, you know, sometimes you need to see it or sometimes you need to hear it. It's almost nice to have both because it's so complex.
The technology is awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Eh.
Great. Thank you for that. Sophia?
Yeah. Hi. I also wanted to say thank you for organizing this. I really appreciate it. It's also my first book club. And I think it's safe to say that everybody is agreeing that maybe, yeah, like we read chapters at home and then prepare questions. But just for the sake of it, is there anybody who has like another idea, or like, should we vote or something? No, I think we're safe.
That sounds good. Yeah, it seems like we all agree.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Sophia. Thanks for being a part of this.
Thank you.
Darty, did I say that right?
Yeah.
Great.
So thank you for starting this, Shavna. I am like Abhilash, like I've heard it from childhood but never read it, so it's all new for me. I had done some book clubs and there are different things they have done in it. I like the idea to read it ahead and then discuss it, because I think everyone's perspective towards it will be different. How we each take it. So writing the questions, then talking about it, discussing it will bring more out of the book club. In one of the book clubs I attended, what they did is that one person in each of the each session took in charge, and then if they want to do some presentation or some kind of illustrations to share, they did along with the book club. Nothing to put pressure on, but let's say we are reading this, but on the side also gaining some knowledge from outside, and if we feel like sharing it with others, so that is one idea, but reading it ahead is a better thing.
The way to go. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Yeah, I hope everybody feels safe and comfortable in sharing whatever they have to bring as we're going through this exploration together. So I think we all agree that we will read in advance and then come to the meeting. So I would like to discuss before we move on to official introductions, or maybe do we get that out of the way first? I wanted to talk about like the expectations of what we're going to read and when. I want to talk about meeting days and times. I recognize that not this time and day is not great for everybody. And I just wondered, should we do like a vote? Is this something that people would want to talk about right now, or think it through after they look at their calendars and just email or put it in the chat? Does anybody have feedback on that, on date and time? Dave?
So one of the problems that I've had to manage with my cohort 3 group calls that I do is the fact that it's a global community, and you can't find a time that works for everybody because everybody is all over the world. So perhaps to make it the most accessible, you could have differing times of availability that's set up for you as the organizer, but it might give it a little bit more, make it a little bit more accessible for other people who aren't in a time zone close to yours. That's why I have 2 calls on Mondays. I have a 9 a.m. and a 9 p.m. to be accessible for everybody, but that's a lot to ask, and my intentions are in other things with that. But that would be the one thing to maybe combat the time zone accessibility.
I love that idea. I love that idea. I think that is phenomenal. I'm happy to discuss this 2 separate sessions because I mean it's interesting. So thank you for that. Appreciate that. Abby?
Yeah, I really like that idea. It reminds me of the time when I was still working. We used to have these sunrise and sunset calls, thinking of with the global team, twice every day. It works better for a global community. I was just going to say, Shauna, because you posed this question, if there is anything that we can do to conclude on a schedule right now, that would be my preference. We can just take a vote. This time on weekends, works for me. But if there is a different time, if there's a different proposal, if we can make a decision today, that would really help.
Okay, excellent. Sophia?
Yeah, I agree with Dave and Abby that, yeah, I think we should vote and see what works best for everybody. What I feel like is it's better to prepare it in advance and have like a fixed date set, and that we can discuss now so everybody can make the time and know in advance when it's best. So it's not like maybe this week is this one and next week we have another timing, or like just postpone it like for a long time. I think that won't work. Yeah, because I think what I learned is with the school is that once you have like this schedule, you will make the time. Yeah.
It's
I agree.
true. Does anybody feel like I scheduled this today because this was an opening that was coming up, and I felt like the 1st was great because it's like the 1st of October, but I can't say that Sunday is always going to be the best for me. And now that I'm here doing this, I feel like, let's see. Oh, thank you. I feel like I would rather do it during the week. Does anybody else feel that way? Because I will figure out how to make this work if anybody wants to keep it at this day and time. So no, Caitlin, go ahead.
Yeah, it's hard because it's like, yeah, some weekends might work for some people, but I think all of us can identify with you can't always plan for that. So I know that during the week might be hard, but if we could find a time in a day that works for everyone, I feel like it might be a little easier. I don't know. That's like, what does everybody else think? Because I kind of agree with you, Shauna. Like during the week might be better. Everybody can have their weekend to decompress and whatever, do their thing. But what does everyone else?
Yeah, maybe I propose like another date and time, and then I can hear what people, if people think they can make that or not. Thank you, Caitlin. Seshu?
Um, yeah, I have a busy week generally because we work, we go, we travel these days. Like they made it like mandatory to go back to the work and office. So um, I am like a little bit thinking like what time during the week are you planning to do? Because the other day and time also sometimes it matters. We need to take it look at the time and dates. Yeah, the time and the days of week when we are planning to meet.
So I have a couple of things coming up already on my schedule where I'll be away. I do dirt biking, so there's like 3 weekends from now I'm going to be dirt biking, and I don't know how I'm going to be able to get to a computer on a Sunday. Thanks, Sophia. I'm reading this, everybody's quote or comments. So I guess what I would like to ask of each of you is, could you all come up with 2 or 3 days and times that you could pitch that work for you? And then I could just find some similarities in those and we could pick one of those.
Mhm.
That could be like, we can do this afterwards. Like you can each post it in the group chat when you look at your calendars and figure out like, okay, you know, I can do Mondays at 1, or I can do Tuesdays at 5. You know, you guys get it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you for that. Oh, did you have more?
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Abhi, go ahead.
Yeah, Shana, what we can do is maybe just set up a poll in our group. I think there is an option for us to do that with all the different days and times. Maybe it will become easier to collect the data from everybody.
Yeah.
I can take the initiative in creating that poll.
Wonderful. I love that. Thank you. Okay. And Sophia?
Yeah, as I just mentioned in the chat, I think it's better if I don't just put a random day, because I need to adapt to you guys. I have not a fixed schedule, so just wanted to give you a heads up. I will not post any days or times because basically I don't know.
Okay.
But I will make it happen whenever I can.
Okay. So my goal is to read everybody's input this week and try to figure out something that meshes with as many people as possible. So we will have like a definite meeting date and time that we keep the same every week. And that, again, we'll make that decision sometime this week. And I'll send emails and I'll post in the chat so everybody knows. So I took the initiative. You guys probably can't see this, but I broke down each chapter in the book to figure out how many pages were in each chapter, because I figure everybody has an idea of how much they can read at a time, right? If we're meeting once a week, then that means we have 1 week. So the intro and the forward were 54 pages. Did everybody get that read? I'm assuming okay, good. I like it. The thumbs up. Thank you. Okay, cool. So that was essentially like the longest, you know, part of our reading. So chapter 1 has 11 pages. Chapter 2 has 14 pages. They're all 11, 14, 10, 10, 8, 12, 9, 11. They're all pretty short chapters. I don't know if anybody noticed that. But what do you guys think you're capable of per week? Do you think 2 chapters a week? Do you think 3 chapters a week? Feedback from anybody? 2, Darty? Anybody else? Let's see. I think Sophia 2 is good. 2 from Linda. Thank you, Linda. Anna, go ahead.
I would just maybe propose 3, and that way it seems like it would be like a 6-week, 7-week kind of journey, but I'm open to whatever the decision is.
Okay. Just to keep the journey a little bit shorter. Thank you, Anna. Dave, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback on what Anna said there. I think that the 6-week commitment is a little bit easier to maintain as opposed to the 9. And I don't think that those the one other chapter is overbearing amount of work. I know everybody's busy. There's no question about that. But a 6-week commitment is I think is a little bit easier for everybody to swallow, especially people in the middle of your cohort work. Like, I know how much stuff there is to do, and it can be daunting to throw another log on the fire. Can be a bit tricky. So that's, if we're voting, that's where I'd stand.
Absolutely. Darty?
I said 2 because a lot of people are in cohort 5 and our deadline for it is October 23rd. So we are putting a lot of time in there. And my personal opinion, it can go differently, is that as the chapters we go ahead, they're going to get more and more deep. So we don't want to rush it, because yes, we want to finish the book, but also get some good input from the book. So 2 chapters going deep into it as we go forward, I think will be a better idea. But everyone, whatever they think, we can go with it.
Okay, so I think we've got Dave and Anna that are proposing 3, and Darty is proposing 2. Tara? I'm sorry.
I
I'm
agree.
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna put you on hold for a second. Anna, I thought your hand was still up from last time, but is that a new? Okay. All right. Go ahead, Tara.
I agree with what Darty was saying. So I would like, I mean, I'm going as in depth into each chapter as we can. I just don't want to feel like we're maybe missing out on content or trying to just like really barrel into ideas if we're trying to rush, get to, well, we got to move on and get to the next chapter and have that discussion and all of that. So I think really trying to dig in deep is the way to go. Sorry.
That was funny. Thank you, Tara. I appreciate that. Anna, go ahead.
Yeah, you know what, maybe rethinking it to just if somebody can't make one session, so we are kind of then stretching it out a bit. 2 could work. Anyway, I'm open, whatever you guys decide.
Thank you, Anna. Monica?
Hey, Shana, since you have the number of pages for each chapter, like few chapters just have 9 pages and few 11, maybe we can just see how many pages is feasible for all of us and then decide whether it's 2 or 3, because yeah,
I
that's
like
my
that
idea.
idea.
So
Okay, my instinct right now is I hear everything that everybody's saying, but what I think maybe we should do is, why don't we just start with 3 chapters, just because we're all so busy and have so many commitments. That really rang true for me. And then reassess. So we have our second meeting, and then we all can decide, like, yeah, 3 is too much. There's too much to cover. We need to break this into smaller bites. Does everybody feel comfortable trying that on for size? Okay, cool. So for the first week, we're going to read chapter 1, 2, and 3. So that's 11, 14, and 10. So that's 35 pages that we'll be committing to for the first week. And I think, everybody highlight, underline, take notes, write questions, whatever you want to discuss with everybody, bring it. And we'll just do the best we can. I imagine that I'm not the only one that was using like the pronunciation Google and like trying to figure out how you pronounce words, what certain words mean. Is everybody experiencing that as well? Okay, good. So maybe we'll be bringing some of that to the table too. Like, hey, how about this new word? Okay, so awesome. This is exciting. Rose, go ahead.
Can you hear me? Did I turn myself on? That's why I suggested the audio version and reading it and listening to it at the same time, because all those big words that we don't know and we don't recognize are being pronounced correctly, and then they're explained just like they are in the book. But at least you get to hear those words, and after they've used them so many times, you start, oh, okay, I remember that. Okay, I remember that. So just a thought. It works for me. If it works for somebody else, great.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that would be helpful for anybody. Thank you. Tara?
I think I'm sure everyone has seen it, but the glossary in the back has been amazing as well. Just being able to like really look at the definition of terms has really been nice. Words. So I mean, I feel like I've been flipping back and forth throughout it the entire time. So just a reminder, the glossary is in the back in this version, if that's which one everyone has. I don't know. But yeah, it was really, really helpful for me. So.
Awesome. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Absolutely. I did notice that as well. I've still been Googling, even though it's right there in the book with me. I'm addicted to Google. Okay. So I'm so excited. And now I would love to invite everybody to take turns introducing themselves and just giving us a little bit about you and what interested you in this, or whatever comes to mind for you. Would anybody like to start? Everybody's shy. No virtual hands going up. Yay. Sophia, go for it.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sophia, as already mentioned. I'm in cohort 4, so I recently graduated, or my graduation ceremony is upcoming week, so I'm really excited. And I read the book Think Like a Monk from Jay, and I also noticed that he was mentioning the Gita a lot. And I got like really curious before that, and with that. And when I saw your post, I was like, oh my God, this is the chance. Also, my first book club ever. So I'm really excited of like what this journey will hold for each and every one of us. And also now during the Launchpad call, I actually realized that I want to go like in my niche. I want to be more of a spiritual coach. So I think that's like the perfect base for me to start. And then, yeah, let's see how it goes.
I love that. Thank you. And congratulations.
Thank you.
Dave, go ahead.
Congratulations, Sophia. That's wonderful. And a lot of people could use spirituality coaching, I think. So that's great. Like I said, I have cohort 3. I'm through Launchpad, through it all, graduation. Like I said, I have 2 calls with my cohort group a week. It's a really powerful group of people, and I'm honored to be part of it, as I'm honored to be part of this group. As a student of history, Robert Oppenheimer, not even removed from the movie that just came out, I said after he saw the atomic bomb dropped in Alamogordo, New Mexico for the first time, he quoted the Bhagavad Gita and saying, "I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." And it always struck me as someone who was so engaged in the science and engaged in the math and that part of it, when he saw something of such godlike power, his first thoughts were of a spiritual generation, right? And I thought, if he's thinking that in that moment, there's probably something here. Not to mention all of the stuff that Jay talks about and all the learnings that we go through with the course and many other things. It's something that once you dip your head into spirituality, it comes up again and again and again. And I've developed an appreciation for all sorts of ancient wisdoms and the ancient truths of the universe. And I think it's fascinating how they are in our lives, whether we know it, like it or not, right? So I'm excited to see what happens here with as a group as we unfold all the pages here. And I'm really excited. So I'm in Southwestern Ontario, 42 years old. I'm part of the Jay Shetty School is you recognize as a man that the ratio is about 10 to 1 women to men. So I'm happy to be here and look forward to getting to know everyone and sharing this experience. Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's nice to have some male energy. There are a lot of women in this school. I noticed that too. My daughter even said something about it. She jumped on one of the Zoom calls and she was like, "Is it all girls?" I'm like, there's a couple guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate your insight there with the history. That was awesome. Caitlin, go ahead.
All right. So hi everyone. I'm Caitlin. You can call me Katie. I'll have to figure out how to change my name so you guys can see that like Abby did. So I am in cohort 5. This is also my first book club, and this is my first time ever hearing of the Gita. And kind of what brought me here is it's kind of funny how when you ask the universe for something, it's provided. I was talking to one of my coaches about like needing more connection, and I'm a really deep thinker. And Shauna, you've also used the word of overthinker. So I really love these deep topics and these spiritual topics. And even just reading the introduction and the foreword, it's like even though these ideas might be presented in a way that are different from what I experienced them, they still hit you in the heart somewhere. I think it kind of will hit all of us like, oh yeah, that's kind of the thought I've always had all my life, and it's being presented to me in this way now. So I'm just really excited for the connection we can facilitate in this group and the types of discussions. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, so are we. It's awesome to have you here and appreciate your energy. All right, Monica, go ahead.
Hi, I'm in cohort 6. This is my second week at JSHT school. And thanks, Shauna, for this book club. Like everyone else, this is my very first book club. I have never done before. And also what brought me to this book club is I have been thinking since ages to read this so-called Bhagavad Gita, but every time I touch it, I feel, oh my God, it's so tough. And since you brought this book club, I thought maybe I get to hear a lot of things from different people, different perspectives about it. And the little knowledge what I have about Bhagavad Gita is I heard a lot of them saying that it has all the answers for a little child to an adult. And it also explains how each and every person can become a much better self of themselves. So thank you again. Let's see how it will change me, or at least I think, or I'm planning to be a better person of myself, but let's try. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's
Thank you.
awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I think all of us here are working on that goal. Anne, go ahead.
So same for me. First time reading the Gita and first time being part of a book club. So I'm really excited. I grew up Catholic, but my parents were more like Easter, Christmas Catholics, if at all. So they weren't very religious. But I've always had a really strong just desire to know more, to know where we came from, what is God, who is God, what's the connection between this world and that world. And then when I was 22, I came across the book Ask and It Is Given. I don't know if anyone has heard that book before, heard of that book, by Abraham Hicks. And so that really opened up a whole new world for me. And then I just kind of started reading more books, Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and just several others, Conversations with God, Neil Donald Walsh, just a lot of different books. And so never did I read this one, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's already, you know, I can tell I've had some misconceptions about it. And so I'm eager to kind of blow those out of the water, and I'm just excited to keep learning. So thank you, Shauna, for this space and for giving us an opportunity to connect and talk about these very deep, important things.
Absolutely. Yeah. We are seekers in this group, aren't we? And I appreciate the book suggestions because I've never heard of the ask and it is given. So that's exciting. I wrote it down. Thank you. Seshu?
Hi, Shana. Hi, everyone. And yeah, firstly, I would like to thank Shana for bringing this book club up in the Unbreakable Bond Club. Regarding me, like like my introduction is like I am basically from India. I have a background in research and biology. Currently, I work for a pharmaceutical industry, and yet at the same time this is our holy book back in India. And from ages I wanted to read this book and know about this book. With the God's grace I got a chance to read the slokas back in 2020 when the COVID hit this world. I used to have a great positive vibrations when I was when I was reciting those slokas. Then later on I wanted to know more about the slokas, and like, but I didn't get a chance to go over them very deep. But I heard some speeches where they explain these slokas, but still I'm not even halfway. So when you just started this book club, I thought that okay, this might be like more like convenient way to complete the entire 18 chapters in a precise way. So that's the reason why I joined this book club. And like so many of us in the group, this is my first time book club and reading a book together. And I would really love to see how this journey goes, and hoping for the best. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now I want to go research the slokas. I'm like, what? Tell me more about that for another day, probably, huh?
Okay.
I mean, is there more that you wanted to share about it? Is it a long?
The slokas is something like it is the conversation between Lord Sri Krishna and the Arjuna, and also there are like few other characters in the Mahabharata, like for example Sanjaya, Dhritarashtra. So they will be talking about it. So the Gita is mentioned it as like these slokas, they just came from the mouth of Sri Krishna. So they emphasize on like not to mispronounce them. They have to pronounce it the way they are to get the best out of it, like because they all are written in Sanskrit, and the Sanskrit words you have to pronounce it the way they are, like where there is a stress you should stress them, where there is no stress you shouldn't stress them. So the better way is to like not to do more mistakes, like read it properly how the way they are. So that is what the slokas I meant. But reading slokas we may not understand so much, so that's the reason why like we should read something like this, and we should listen to the speeches given by the experienced and knowledgeable people. So that is what I meant was, yeah.
I'm kind of like, whoa, blow my mind, because as you were explaining that, I was gonna say to you, I bet you'll be able to help us pronounce these things correctly. And then
Sure, definitely. That was my learning in 2020. It is the pronunciation of like how you read the slokas from the Bhagavad Gita. So I mentioned it to you previously. Like so those slokas were there in the book called Bhagavad Gita as it is. So you also have posted that book in the group which you just started.
Yeah.
So the same book, yeah.
Yeah.
It has all the slokas and everything, and also has the meanings to it. It takes some yeah, a time to learn and like yeah about it. Yeah.
Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Darty?
Hello everyone. So I started reading Bhagavad Gita in 2022. in my native language, which is Marathi. And as Seshu mentioned, when I started reading those slokas, yes, they are very hard in Sanskrit and you should not mispronounce it. It became to a point that I was like not understanding what I am reading as it got deeper and deeper. And I just finished like maybe 2 chapters. So this is a good version of Bhagavad Gita where we can connect with each other, really understand. We all are seekers and we just started it. So if it is hard in the starting only, it will get like, we'll push it away. So this is a perfect start. The explanation is amazing. All those words are like, I have heard them from childhood in the introduction, but what do they exactly mean? Like sattva, rajas, and all that. Like it was a good explanation. It's amazing, Thomas. It was very good. I live in Florida, very close to Orlando. I'm an administrator for 2 clinics. My background has been medicine. I have 3 daughters, one in college, one a senior, one a teenager, a typical teenager. So I think this is the right time to start this Gita reading and it will enlighten all of us. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Yeah, you were saying, what does it mean? And I'm thinking, I guess we're going to find out what it's supposed to mean, but then we're also going to figure out what it means to us personally.
Yes. Mhm.
Thank you. Seshu? I think your mute is on.
Yeah, sorry, I did not lower my hand.
Oh, okay. Abhi?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like everybody said, I think I have a similar inclination towards Gita. I've been wanting to, read this for a long time. I would say I've always had this spiritual inclination, but I really paid attention to it and took it a little more seriously about a year ago, where I was at a stage in my life where I felt it was necessary to prioritize myself. I quit my job and I spent close to 2 months in a yoga ashram in India, where I spent probably close to 8 hours in my day just volunteering and 6 to 7 hours of a day, just a day doing yoga and meditation. So that's when, and I was surrounded by close to 3,000, 5,000 people who were on a similar journey, probably well ahead of that journey, who had reached a level of, I wouldn't say enlightenment, but a level of bliss that they were in. Just being around them made me realize that there is, so much more profound wisdom in the universe that is around us. And just by learning to receive that energy that we are surrounded by, that we can elevate ourselves to that level of bliss. So that's when I decided that I have to, this is my purpose now, to one, be able to live that life and introduce this to as many people as possible. And I know that the Gita has a lot of these learnings. It has been scripted and made it available to us for us to learn and reflect and think about it. That's how I see Gita as something that is going to widen my thinking. And specifically, I would say, firstly, Shauna, I did see your post on Unbreakable. I did want to follow up on that, and I think I was traveling in and around that date, and I completely lost track. I searched for it, but I couldn't find your post. So I have to thank Seema, because she's the one who really pointed it out and said, "Oh, by the way, Shauna is starting this book club. Would you be interested?" I'm like, "Wow, this is the universe's way of connecting me back to what I needed," because I searched for it, I couldn't find it, and I didn't realize it was you. If I would have at least remembered your name, because we are in the same schedule 7 with Rosina, so I would have remembered this, but I just didn't take note of your name then. So I do want to thank Seema to somehow introduce me back to this, and I get this opportunity. For me, I'm more than just going through the experience of learning and being more thorough with what Gita is teaching us. I'm more interested in also networking with people like you, people who are interested in the same things. I think I will get a lot to learn just being a part of this group over here. So that's what drew me to this group. And thank you, Shauna, for starting this.
Yeah, wow. I feel really excited that we have access to somebody who knows how to meditate for more than 20 minutes. We're going to be coming to you with a lot of questions. Thank you so much, Abhi. Linda?
Yeah, hi everyone. I actually live in Virginia near DC. Like Sophia, I've been reading Jay's book, Think Like a Monk, and as you know, he referred to the Gita numerous times, and it sort of re-sparked my interest because it's a book that I've always wanted to read. I've always wanted to read the teachings, and I'm a Montessori teacher and parenting coach and peace educator for children. And so much of what I teach in my peace education lessons is about, cause and effect of our choices and teaching children how to make mindful choices in consideration of themselves as well as others and their environment. And so, um, just ways to be a better person, a better human being. And I've been studying Nichiren Buddhism for the last 10 years, and that's been, as part of my quest to become a better person and to seek answers within myself and sort of to tap into my best version of myself. So this is just a really great opportunity. I really appreciate the invitation. So thank you so much, Shauna, for putting it out there. I'm looking forward to sharing the journey with all of you. So thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm definitely going to want to talk to you too, because I have an underlying passion for teaching our children. So I'll be messaging you about that.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
It starts with the children, right? If we're to have peace in the world, as Gandhi says, we must begin with children. And I really firmly believe that. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Rose?
I'm using my iPad for the first time, and the buttons are in different places. My name is Rose, and I live in San Diego County in California. And if you saw the picture on our Unbreakables with the heart behind us, that was the SoCal group that met a couple weeks ago. It was an awesome day. We just sat outside, had our teas and whatever, our drinks, and got to know each other. And it was wonderful. And I hope more groups and more people from Southern California are going to join us. And Dave, you're in Southwest Ontario. I grew up south of Buffalo. So just to let you know, almost neighbors. Yep. I am a retired classroom teacher. I have taught all the grade levels from almost all the grade levels from kindergarten on up to high school. With all my work with parents and counselors and psychologists and all the meetings we've had, and I'm sure Linda will understand too, you meet with the parents and you don't discuss the report card, you discuss their home life and how to fix things and what are they going to do and put into motion. So a lot of what I've been learning through this whole process has been like a reintroduction in just a different perspective of what I've been doing for the last 30 years or so. I brought up the group that met a couple of weeks ago because we were sitting there at the picnic tables and this came up. We went around, introduced ourselves, and the Gita came up and we all said, yeah, we really should look into this. We should get to know this book. I've heard of it only because of Jay. I didn't know anything about it. And then the next day, Shauna, you posted, hey, let's create a book club. And I thought, okay, group, here we go. So I'm going to, we should mention that to Elaine, and a few of the other ones are posted on that SoCal group, and they might want to join in because they were talking about it. So I'm excited. I'm in cohort 5. I am struggling to get clients. So if anybody would like to be a client for me for my unsupervised, just DM me on site there, and I'll take you on. Anyways, that's me.
That's awesome. Thank you, Rose. Yeah, my fiance is a high school teacher, so I can definitely relate to some of what you were saying too. I think all of us should feel comfortable sharing the book club with everybody and anybody that you think would want to join us, right? The more the merrier. Thanks, Rose. Tara?
Hi, everyone. So I might be one of the only, well, I guess there's a couple people who are going to be graduating this week, but I've been an alumni since I was in cohort 2. So I've been an alumni for a couple months now. And so I am actually a spiritual wellness coach. That's my niche and my focus. And I really try to focus with mothers and kind of just helping mothers find the peace and get through the overwhelm and the overstimulation of having, little kids glommering onto you all the time and all the things and trying to do things for yourself and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of my area right now. I am in Southeast Alaska on an island called Ketchikan. It's pretty remote and pretty small. I have my 2 kids. They're 5 and 2. And I just have been on my own little spiritual journey these past couple of years. And this last year has been a pretty deep one for me, just going through divorce and just all sorts of stuff. So I really have been like falling into deeply into my spirituality. And I've had this exact copy of my book on my bookshelf for a year now, keeping like, I need to read it. I need to open it up. I know it would be so great. And I think I was a little intimidated by it. And so I think it was perfect when you posted. It was one of those like moments where you're like, oh, here we are. Like, this is what's supposed to be happening. Like the universe conspires to work in your favor, right? And this is where we're at. So I think a lot of us are probably feeling that, like Rose said. So yeah, I'm excited to read it. And I think that this is a perfect space. It makes me a lot more comfortable to be able to like talk about these things, talk about the book instead of just feeling like out on my own little island after reading it and being like, what the hell did I just read? So I think it'll be great to have this group to kind of work through that together. So thank you for hosting this, Shauna, again and again. It's really appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm excited. Yeah, it's really exciting to get all this confirmation of how the universe is just bringing us all together. I love that. Also, I don't know if it's appropriate to say congratulations on your divorce, but I've been through that. And I sometimes people say like, oh, now you get to rediscover who you are. And I like to say you get to create who you're becoming. So congratulations on that. That's really exciting. So everybody, Rose and Seema, I see you, but we have a new person, Rebecca, coming in from the waiting room. So I think I'm going to take a minute to just invite her in and then we'll go back to you two. Is that okay? Okay. Hi, Rebecca. Can you hear us? Are you with us?
Yes.
Hi. So we are just coming toward the end of introducing everybody and doing introductions, and I'll be able to share the recorded version on the chat so you'll be able to see whatever you've missed. So just give me a minute. I want to finish up with the people that were in line and then we'll get back to you. Does that work?
Sounds great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, Seema, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. My name's Seema. I live in Arizona. I'm married, 2 girls. And I have grown up, just like some of the other people in the group, with the Gita as part of our religion and as part of our history. And thanks to my mom, who's actually here beside me today, you probably saw me chit-chatting at times and laughing. My wise 82-year-old mother is here. Her name is Indira. The lighting is terrible. There we go.
Hi.
So thanks to her, when I was younger, I watched the Mahabharata, which is the kind of epic tale that leads, is kind of the base of the Gita, which is what they kind of talk about a little bit in the foreword. And though it's, a drama, it's a movie, it really does bring forward the different tribulations that we as humans face. And that is what what Krishna addresses to Arjun in the Mahabharata. So watching that provides a different avenue of kind of understanding, especially when I was only 13. to watch it, and it's like in 120 different parts, like it's hours upon hours upon hours. But so that's kind of, I think, where my interest started. And when I was 16, I went to an ashram in India and spent some time there. So I was pretty young. And then, you know, life happens in between, get married and have kids, and just busy with the day to day. And then Jay Shetty was able to bring me back to, I think, where I started once upon a time. And so I've never read the Gita, but it's like everyone else has said, I think it's the idea that it's daunting. And I know this to be true because my mom is 82 and she has read multiple versions and she still does not understand many, many, many things. And so that, you know, I think at the end of this, if we all feel completely like we're now questioning even more, it's okay.
Absolutely. And your mom, tell her to come on in, join us every time.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Seema. Okay, Rebecca. Where's Rebecca?
Hi.
There we go. Hi. Would you like to tell us a little bit about you and what brought you to the book club?
Sure. First, can I ask a question? Was I wrong on the time?
Yes.
So I worried because I had it written down in two different places, two different times. So was it one? Well, what time are you Pacific?
Pacific Standard Time. So it was an hour ago.
Okay, that's so bummed. I'm sorry about that. I just had it wrong on my calendar.
It's okay.
I
Don't
don't want to
worry.
appear rude.
Don't worry. Everything happens the way it's supposed to. We're all chill. We have it recorded. And I think what we're all really here for is going to be starting in the next session. So don't worry.
Perfect. So my name's Rebecca Herman. I'm married. I have two teenagers, so life is fun. And active, very active. And I live in Florida. So I personally was raised Lutheran. And so I am religious and spiritual, I want to say. I've been practicing yoga since I was 19, so for a very long time. And so that's always been a part of my life. And now that I'm understanding more about the background of yoga, and with this course, I really was interested in reading this, but knowing that it was like a mountain to climb. So when you said we're going to do this, I was like, yes, I don't have to climb the mountain alone. So that's kind of what brought me here.
That's awesome. I think that that's true for all of us from what I understand. It's intimidating, but if we're going to do it together, I think we got this. So I guess I should let you guys all know a little bit about me. I owned a women's clothing boutique for 20 years. My mom started it. She's been doing it for 50 years. I finally decided that it wasn't providing what I wanted. I wasn't getting what I wanted out of it. And I completely left it behind about a month ago. So my life is now on this journey. And, you know, you spend a lot of time in that setting talking to people about their problems. And a lot of times they're like, you know, dress me so that I can forget about my problems. And all along I'm going, yeah, but your problems aren't about what's out here. It's what's in here and here. And I want to be a coach because I want to help people who actually want to do the work and who want to help themselves. And earlier I mentioned, Jay mentions the Gita, and I've heard that it's like the Bible, and I still have not read that from beginning to end. Like I know parts of it, but I haven't done the beginning to end, even though I've got copies of it on my shelf. So I thought, well, if I'm going to do this, this is the perfect crowd of people that would probably be interested in it with me. So thank you all from the bottom of my heart for sharing this passion and being willing to go on this journey together. Rebecca, I just want to let you know that we have decided that we are going to start by reading the first 3 chapters. And then everybody is going to put, or anybody who wants to is going to put in the group chat through Workplace, a couple of day and time suggestions of what might work for you, because Sundays aren't going to work for me every Sunday. So we're trying to choose a date and time that is going to be the same every week. So that's the gist of what you missed. Does anybody want to discuss what we read in the foreword? What I understand, and I heard Seema mention it, that it's really, this book is about the battle within us, within each of us. And no matter where we are, who we are, we all have this battle, right? And you hear this story in so many different ways. Like, you guys all heard of the wolf? Like, the Native American grandfather is telling his grandson that there's two wolves, and whichever one you feed is the one that, you know, survives. And so we hear, you know, and then of course we've all heard of like the angel and the devil on the shoulder. So this is a concept that's been around for a long time. I think Dave even mentioned that too, that it's interesting to see the same concept come from different cultures. So I'm excited to see, you know, to go into more depth on what this culture has to say about that. We're just raising our virtual hands and taking turns speaking. So does anybody want to talk about what they experienced reading the foreword? Rebecca, go ahead.
So I think that's why when I introduced myself and didn't really talk about coaching, but I'm very excited about that. I brought up that I was Lutheran because what kept coming up for me is that, and I guess just to preface, I'm someone that was brought up with my religion, but I believe in like all religions, whatever you practice is right. Like, I don't think there's one right religion. I think that, you know, that all religions are right for the people that are within them, and that it's about faith. And what kept coming up for me in this forward was that this is what I was taught. It was just different ways. It wasn't taught in the same way, but the same idea of, you know, of how we look at ourselves and the outer world versus the inner world, I want to say, or inner self, is the same idea. And like, things that popped up for me was like the golden rule that was embedded in me as a child, and that spoke to me in this forward. You know, and then of course in yoga, like, I heard my prayer, and often I start my practice when I'm with a group, not on my own, honoring the divine in them. The divine in me honors the divine in them. And so those two things, the golden rule and that, kept coming up for me with this, that really, like, I'm so excited about reading this because I feel like I've gotten the education just in a different way. And so this will be really enlightening.
Yeah, it's so exciting to hear different perspectives. We are going to be so wise when we're done with this book. Okay, well, so I guess now, yeah, Dave, go ahead.
I'm excited to explore what the Gita has to really clarify about the role of the ego and the self and our true purpose. And I think that, you know, we do a lot of work in coaches understanding the ego and learning to listen to ourself on the most deep level, or our clients. And I think that what this book might offer us is a little bit more clarity in that, and a little bit more understanding of the wolf that we should be feeding versus the wolf that we need to be aware of. That story of two wolves is something, I'm glad you brought it up, because it comes up all the time in my life, and I thought about it as well when I read the introduction. So really developing an understanding of what is true goodness and what is to live a godlike life, or a Christ-like life, almost, if you can transpose that concept onto this too, is kind of what I'm looking to learn more about. Spent a lot of my adulthood as an atheist in the new atheist movement, and I still consider myself to be that, but I have an undeniable relationship and respect and love of spiritual to spiritual universe that's undeniable, and I appreciate that. And like I said earlier, to me, it's just everybody seeing the world the same way, just not being able to communicate what we see effectively, that we can all find the harmony in what we think, right? So I think we're going to see a lot of that, and I'm really excited to share this experience with a group, because we're all coming from different places, and we're going to find so much that binds us here. as people, because it's all about kindness and that shared experience as humankind.
Amen. Amen to kindness and compassion. Yeah, I feel really similar. It's interesting because when you're talking about, okay, which wolf do you feed, but still be aware of the other wolf, it reminds me of a conversation that I had in a fishbowl activity, and I think some of you were with me. And the supervisor, I said, well, the opposite of ego would be humility. And the supervisor said, well, it sounds to me like you think the ego's bad. And we didn't have time. It was the end of the class, so we didn't have time to dive deeper into it. But I've been thinking about it a lot. And, you know, I've been trying to become friends with my ego instead of making it a bad part of me or shaming it for existing. And I guess that's what I'm thinking of the two different wolves. It's like, it's not necessarily bad, but I will say that my ego has definitely caused drama or pain to myself or to others, but then that's where growth comes from, right? So I'm on a journey of learning to really embrace all of our parts, right? The good and the bad, the yin and the yang, without having to make it bad. So I'm imagining that this book might shed some light on that topic. Does anybody else have anything else they want to share with the group before we say our goodbyes? Tara, go ahead.
I think it's similar, and like, and I think there were pieces of that in the introduction here too, but also the idea of in Buddhist philosophy, and you know, the Thich Nhat Hanh talked a lot about like having the seeds of everything within you, right? Seeds of joy, seeds of anger, seeds of ego, all those things. And it's, you know, just like what wolf do you feed? It's what seeds do you water? What seeds do you nurture to help grow? And that just, I think it's just, as we were talking about, the same ideas coming from different corners of the world. I mean, I think we're going to find, in just by reading the introduction, that we have all heard a lot of these ideas before, just in different ways. And I think it's just going to be really interesting to see how it all comes together in this way. And I'm excited to see that, because you know, through Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, I mean, like I think Dave was saying earlier, they're all saying the same things. They're just saying it in a different way, or a different language, or, you know, under a different light. And so I'm excited to really dive deeper into this one.
Me too. Me too. Seema?
Yeah, I think just reading the foreword really made me realize that exactly what we've been learning in the program, you know, it really just, Jay has taken the concepts from the Gita, right? And when we talk about there being, you know, the divine in me sees the divine in you, right? It's that whole idea of looking at someone as whole, complete, and resourceful, right? It's the same. He's taken everything that he's read there, and he's really translated it into something that us as everyday people, you know, can understand. And I think by reading this deeper, you know, we will take away what he has already kind of made simple for us, but then also for each one of us, what is going to hit home for us, right? So what's going to hit me is going to be different than what hits Abhi or Shauna. And I think every time, my mom was saying that every time you read it, because she's read it multiple times, is you will take something different every time you read it. And that at the time that you take it is the time that it was meant, right? That you guys are all here at this moment for a reason, because it is the right moment for you to be here. And so knowing that, and knowing that, you know, you've already actually, though you are all saying that we haven't read it, by doing the course that we've done, we actually have already started and that it will carry on each time that you do this.
I love that. What an awesome reminder. Yeah. And I want to say it was in the course where I learned the concept of just because you and I are looking at the same thing doesn't mean that we're seeing the same thing. So I'm wrapping my head around, like, we really are so different. I never thought that I would ever have to ask somebody, like, what is your definition of happy or sad? Like that's a huge, like, whoa, okay, we are all experiencing happy and sad differently. So yeah, it's going to be neat to see how it speaks to each one of us. Yeah. Does anybody else have anything before we wrap it up today?
I'll say something about sloka.
My mom's gonna say one thing.
Oh yeah, I would love that.
I was trying to put it where the lighting is better there, kind of.
None of us understand Sanskrit. It's a very ancient language. And probably a line of Sanskrit, if you want to translate it, my father was a Sanskrit scholar, and he said it would take a whole page to understand this particular line. So, and we are not going to learn Sanskrit. It's very difficult, except if you are very dedicated. What I would suggest, though, if you get a good recital, somebody singing, Gita means a song, somebody singing Gita, and if you even listen to a few slokas, few verses, if they pronounced right, and I think some of you talked about how it should be pronounced right, it hits different parts of your body, the inside organs. And somebody even said that there were vibrations when they were reading about it. That's what Sanskrit slokas, if they pronounce right, will do to you. If nothing else, it will give you a peaceful moment. So I'm just awed that some of you who come from different backgrounds are trying to learn Gita, because my father tried a number of times to make me read and learn. I said, no, it's difficult. But now that I read, and there are so many different commentaries by hundreds of people, and everybody interprets in their own way. So don't be disheartened, just enjoy the journey.
All the best. That. We are so honored to have your wisdom.
Yeah.
Wow.
I really love that thing. Yeah, thank you so much, Seema, for letting your mom talk about this one.
I mean, I don't think I'd really be here at this point in my life if it wasn't for her. So.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's true.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I was lucky to have parents. My father and my mother both. My father read Gita every day besides Ramayana. That's another epic. My father did it in Sanskrit. My mom did it in Gujarati. Every morning, that was a ritual.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Seema is there now to continue.
Next generation.
That's right.
Awesome.
Nice meeting you all. Thank you.
Nice meeting
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Linda, go ahead.
Yeah, just a practical question about timing. Is it safe to schedule 60 minutes or 90 minutes for our weekly calls? What do people feel is an appropriate allotment of time?
Yeah,
I'd like to be able to know, just so I'm not, if I think it's only been an hour, then versus an hour and a half, I want to make sure I'm allotting the appropriate time.
I figured this session was going to be longer than all of them because we were doing the introductions and talking about the expectations. So for me, I feel like an hour will probably be perfect, but what does anybody else feel? session?
Our would so I have another question, but I feel so for this question, I feel 60 minutes would be fine, and I hope there might be like more questions during might be more discussions, and we have to maybe decide on that particular day how we are actually going with the flow of the meeting.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you had something else you wanted to speak on?
Yes, I have another question. Like for example, so in the next upcoming weeks, there might be this session will not be during the weekends, but during the weekdays and some particular timing, right? By any chance, like if we are unable to meet that a meeting on that particular day, can we ask those questions in the group, or like we can, like as you mentioned that you will send the link to us so that we can go through that, and then if we have our own questions or like anything to comment, we can say it in the group. And how does that go? So how do you want to do that?
I think the safest place to do that would be in the group chat through Workplace.
Oh yeah, okay.
Does everybody else feel like that's an easy thing to access for all of us? Now, if so right now, I want to say 30 people said they were interested, and then I started a new group chat with the updated, because we had 2 extra people come in at the end. So just beware that if new people join, I'll start a new thread and add the new people in. So just keep that in mind. Unless are we able to add people into an old thread? I don't know. Does anybody know?
Yes, you can. I have done that. I've added people because we have a study group that I started, and I added people to it, and I just asked them like, were you able to see the Zoom link? If not, I'll send it to you separately. And they told me they were able to see it, which was from before they were in the group.
Okay. Okay. So maybe I'll come to you if I have any questions or if I can't figure it out. So we'll do our
and
best.
that was my only experience, but I did say to them, it was 2 different people, and I did say, if you can't see the Zoom link or you can't see the previous conversation, let me know. And neither of them said they couldn't. So.
And so you'll have to tell me how you just added them. So
Oh,
you
okay, yeah,
the original thread, you didn't have to start a new one. Okay.
No, you just
That's
add them. It's
awesome.
easy. I can tell you how to do it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, if you want to stay on when everyone gets off for a minute and pull up your Workplace, I can help you with it.
Okay. Okay. And Abby was saying we can create a Google Doc and start posting our reflection questions there. Yeah, that'd be great, Abby. Thank you for taking the lead on that. Yeah, awesome. So my goal is then tomorrow, if everybody can put down their suggestions for day and time, that, by end of day tomorrow, that we have the next meeting scheduled in place. Does that sound good to everybody?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, well, I just want to thank all of my fellow seekers for joining each and every one of us on this journey. Obviously, I want to say our divine, just to be respectful to everybody's beliefs, but has brought us all together, and it's not an accident. And I love all of you, and I'm so excited about being together with you on this journey.
Thank you, Shauna.
Thank you, Shauna.
Thank you.
All right, everybody, have a beautiful day. Talk to you soon.
Bye, everyone. It was nice meeting you.